everyone, again, a lot of people said that Charles was going to outstrike him out and knock him out. I would have probably agreed. But the way that I went about it, though, was if Charles was concerned about the takedown, you understand more than anyone because you've been in the cage with the best fighters in the world,
his
all
ability
across
to be
the world.
effective in the stand-up.
Because that split second of hesitation,
Right.
is he shooting? When his arms move, when his elbows leave his ribs, that split second of hesitation against the world-class athlete that Islam Makhachev is all you need to get the takedown, to land the shot, to do whatever it is you need to do that he was thinking about doing. And that's all it took. Those shots that Charles took, it was because for a split second he was thinking about the takedown. When he moved and he flinched, when he fainted, was he going to try to take me down? Was he lowering his level? Was he trying to get to the underhooks? I got nothing but respect for Charles, and I've always had nothing but respect for Charles. I've loved Charles as a fighter since he was at 145. I've said this. I know people didn't hear it because all they heard was me being a homer to my boy. But I want, like I said, I want to remind people, I will continue to be a homer for everyone that trains out of AK for the life of AK's standing of being a gym. And even if I've never met the guy or trained with the guy, I will be that way. Javier Mendez is I would say he's like a second father to me. Someone that kind of was there for me a lot. Now, look, we've separated, as fighting careers and trainers got to continue to build their athletes. We're not as close as we used to be. But when I see him, it's all nothing but love. Same thing with Bob Cook when he's my manager. He's been my manager since I was 19 years old. I've never had another manager. It's just one. Every time I see him, it's hugs. I love you. You're my guy. Like, that's the thing. And John, you've seen how I am with people, man. The people that I'm close with, this is how I am. And I care for them a lot. Care for Islam. Care for Podcast Dave. Care for you. I get a little emotional sometimes, a little teary-eyed. But, it's important to me to have people like this that I really care for, that I've grown up with. Luke Rockhold, when he fought Paulo Costa. Same thing, man. I'm a fucking wreck when my boys are fighting. And I think that's what makes me who I am. I'm a wreck, man. I'm a wreck. It is a lot easier to watch or to fight your own fight when you're in there than it is to watch your friends fight. And if anyone tells you different, they're lying. Then maybe they're not as close to your being a friend to you as they said they are.
Well, this is why This is why we always say
clinch up.
Being that trainer is the worst position to be in, because it doesn't matter what you did. If the fighter goes out there and is doing great, yeah, it's great. But as soon as the fighter's not doing anything that you said and things are going bad, there's nothing you can do. You can try to snap them out of it, but there's nothing you can do. And you're just watching someone that you care about. I mean, you truly care about. Yeah. Go out and just take punishment, not be successful, and it's brutal. It's just a terrible experience.
I spent the last 8 maybe years of my career training with a majority of with Islam, Khabib, and then little Umar came along. I spent a majority, and then I realized how good they were. I spent the majority towards the end of my career training with them specifically. Now I had other guys, Thomas Dionne. He was probably one of my main sparring partners. So good on the feet, so dynamic, just good Sancho takedown guy. But then you mix him with Khabib, you mix him with Islam, you mix him with other guys that Islam and Khabib had brought. A little Umar, I'd mess with him around a little bit, and spar with him. It's just you build a relationship with fighters that you train with, and I'm a ride or die kind of guy when it comes to my boys. And I don't know, I knew that he possessed all the threats that I've seen Charles break to at 145. Now, Charles didn't break here. I said, if Islam's going to catch him, he's going to catch him with a couple things. The side choke being one of them, the Kimura being the other, and a potential leg lock. But to me, it was always the Kimura or the side choke. He gets to that position, whether he's in half guard, a full side control, it doesn't matter. He gets there, and it's a different type of squeeze. There's certain fighters that have that squeeze.
Oh,
That's just a different squeeze.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how good of a jiu-jitsu guy you are. Like I've said for countless, Khabib didn't have as much success against top level jiu-jitsu guys in training, but he still would grind on them and work them. But when it came to guys that got to positions he was able to escape. I'd never seen him get tapped by top level black belt. Never. I never seen him tap to that position to anybody in a top level black belt position. Islam, I had seen put them in jeopardy over and over and over again. Top level guys. I've seen Islam dominate top level guys, top level jiu-jitsu guys from the mount position, from side control, takedowns, foot sweeps, all of these things. So I knew that Charles was going to be in some trouble. And these guys were mainly bigger than him when Islam was training with them. So when you have guys that are bigger than you, that are top level jiu-jitsu players, and you're still able to work them around, move them around, sweep them, and put them in danger, make them escape, make them fight. I knew that Charles, with striking, was going to be a problem on the feet. But once it hit the ground, Islam was going to slow the pace down and really make him work out of that position.
Let's take a look at this and be honest about the whole thing as we're looking at it. You have to give so much credit to Islam for putting up with a lot of pressure because he was under a ton of pressure. Yes, he was the home favorite, but the amount of pressure that was on him, and it wasn't just the crowd. It is the pressure of Khabib, but it's really the pressure of Abdulmanap because it meant so much to him to make that man's dreams come to fruition, and that's what he did. And he was under an incredible amount of pressure in the fight, but he handled it really well, and you could see it throughout parts of the fight. Like, he came out, he started off well, he landed that left hand, he looked really dominant as far as pressure in the top position. That pressure, he was stopping a lot of what Charles was trying to do. And you saw Charles just start to take and accept the guard and not worry about really looking for the submission, just trying to let time go by with it. The second round said a lot to me because there was a moment when Charles was starting to get into a groove, and you could see Islam actually back off of it, reset, come out, do his thing, and you go, that's what you're looking for when you're looking at a guy as far as fight IQ, fight maturity. He's got it. You can see it. And, the whole thing that you're talking about, people need to understand. Look, Khabib took over as the coach because of his father passing. And you're right. He's going to have to come up with his own stable. But he took it upon himself as, these are my dad's guys, and I need to walk them through their careers like my dad was going to do. And that's why he's doing what he's doing. And look, we've seen him how many times in that corner. I can't think of many times that he hasn't walked away with that win as far as his guy getting the win. So he's obviously doing the right thing. He's spending the time. I don't know how the guy is still married because it's a different world as far as the way they do things because he's never home. And you just got to give it up to Islam Makhachev. We knew how good he was. You had talked to me forever about John. When you roll with him, he's got a different feel. It is just not something that you get from other guys. And coming from you, I knew. I said, well, we're going to see what happens. But he looked fantastic. It's not that Charles didn't come out ready to fight. He had good eyes. First time I think he's ever fought, after having the LASIK surgery, so he could actually see his opponent clearly. That would be a nice thing. Did it make a difference? Thought it might. Could have been that little thing, seeing things a little clearer. Islam won on the feet. He won in the wrestling. He won in the submission game. That's why he's the lightweight champion. And I love what Khabib set him up with that. We wanted to take the fight to Australia and all that stuff. Because that's what the UFC has already talked about. So it's not like this was something that was a surprise. But they're following that game plan. They're following the blueprint of what the UFC wants to do. I thought bringing, Alexander Volkanovski up there is great. He said the right thing. You're going to put your title, that lightweight title on the line. I'll put my pound for pound on the line. They're already selling. It's a great fight. I would love to see it. And, whether it happens in Australia or somewhere else, I don't care. That's a great fight as it's coming up. And if that's his first defense, it's a hell of an opponent to go against.
Go to mybookie.ag. Use that promo code WEIGHING, and they'll give you additional spending cash with your first initial deposit.
100% agree. Look at